Welcome to the Hope and Focus podcast, where hope has a voice. We highlight the journeys of those impacted by Leber congenital amaurosis and other inherited retinal diseases, and the work driving change. Thanks for being here.
Welcome, everyone, to the Hope and Focus podcast. I'm your host, Ben Shaberman, and I'm very excited for this episode to have a chat with Brett Devloo of Vancouver, British Columbia. And Brett is best known for being a blind skateboarder. And for anyone out there who enjoys or has attempted skateboarding, you know that by its very nature, it involves lots of falling and crashing, especially if you're attempting fancy tricks and maneuvers. And for the most avid skateboarders, it's all about going over, through, and around various obstacles and barriers. And they're obstacles and barriers that are usually seen. So the idea of skateboarding blind, at least to me, at first blush, might seem like a bad idea. But for Brett, skateboarding blind is energizing, it's liberating, and it's an important part of his identity. And his skateboarding and overall journey are a message to all of us, with or without eyesight, that we can overcome many of our perceived limitations, even the most formidable. So, Brett, I'm delighted to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Hey, Ben, I'm so stoked to be here.
Well, I am looking forward to our chat. But before we begin, I want to let our listeners know that Brett is not only a talented skateboarder, he's also a motivational speaker, an emerging entrepreneur and philanthropist, and a husband and a father. He's got a little 3.5-month-old boy. And excitingly, he has a documentary in Canada. It's premiered in Canada that tells his story. And we'll be talking more about the film in a few minutes. And Brett, there's so much about you that I think is unconventional, including the way you lost your vision. Not that there's really a conventional way to go blind, but can you tell us how and when your vision changed?
Absolutely. I'd say there's an average way to lose your vision, and it usually comes with age. But I was 16 years old. November 23rd, 2011 was the day. I was sitting in history class writing the notes on the overheads that, for anyone listening to this under the age of 30, the big box with a light that can be focused onto a projector screen that you write notes off of in class usually. Well, it can be out of focus, and I just thought it was out of focus. Like, I couldn't read the words on it at one point, and I'm like, oh, okay. I asked my friend beside me. I'm like, can you read that? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, guess it's just me, huh? Whatever. Put the pen down. Good enough reason not to write notes right now. Then the lights came on, and everything was out of focus. So it turns out I lost my vision right then due to a DNA mutation called Leber's Hereditary Optical Neuropathy. I lost it in both eyes immediately. Like, maybe the left eye was a little bit better, but I don't think so. That might have just been hope.
That's just so crazy, the way you lost your vision, like almost instantly.
Yeah.
Because in our world, I was mentioning the conventional way that people lose vision. Either they're born with significant vision loss or they lose it over time. And I want to make it clear for our listeners that your condition, Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, affects the optic nerve, where Leber congenital amaurosis, which is what a lot of our listeners have, affects the retina. So I just wanted to clarify that. And this is going to be about the science. So that's all we need to say. But you didn't know that you had what we call LHON for short. You didn't know that right away.
Oh, gosh, no. It took I'd say about 7 months for them to actually diagnose me, which is so long to be without knowing what's happening. I took a lot of doctor's appointments, neurologists, ophthalmologists, optometrists, general specialists. They tested me for mono first. It wasn't
And
mono.
that came back negative?
Yeah, it wasn't mono.
Okay, I'm glad you didn't have mono through the whole thing. So when you finally got the diagnosis and it became clear what you had, how did that impact you emotionally, understanding what was causing or what had caused this pretty quick vision loss?
I would argue I was already accepted the blindness at that point because it was quite some time. Like I already went through all the hard parts of being blind in the first 7 months. I walked into walls. I tripped over curbs, all those things. I wasn't prepared to use a cane yet, and then I learned I needed it, things like that. So when I got the diagnosis, it was more relieving than anything because it was like, hey, we got an answer. Yeah, it sucks that that answer is forever blindness, and it's not really curable. No, it's not curable at all. And I had the most rare version of it because it comes in different strings or strains, whatever you want to call it. And mine's the 3640 one, which is pretty much 0% chance of coming back on its own. Some of them just spontaneously come back. But when I heard all of that, it was kind of a quick blast of let's cry it out for half an hour. But other than that, it was relieving because now I had an answer.
Right, right. So the moment you lost all that vision, how did that change your life? Because you were, what, in 11th grade?
Yeah, I was 16 years old, man. I had my own car, I had my license, I had a job, I had like a girlfriend and friend group, and yeah, I know it all all those things kind of disappeared and changed at least. I still had my friends and we still did some regular things, but it all definitely had to be slightly adapted for me, and we learned those things along the way. Like when you're with your friend, you drive into the snowy ditch and he has to go home and get another truck to pull that truck home. Maybe I shouldn't be the one behind the other wheel, you know? Like we learn things like that. But when it came to skateboarding, I just knew I had to still skateboard because it was my love, dude. It was my favorite thing to do. And I just remember the first time stepping on the board where it's like, okay, this is me again. This is home. I don't like using the word normal, so I'm not going to say that because no one's normal.
Well, fair enough, fair enough. But we know the context for normal, so
Yeah.
it's okay. So you knew right away, once you got back on the skateboard, that you wanted to skateboard despite your vision loss.
It was almost like I knew I had to. I needed to, and I even wanted to. It was how good it felt immediately. It was the only thing I knew how to do that didn't change. Like as soon as it kind of changed, but when I stepped on it, it was like I could still skate like I skated before. Just had to learn how to do knowing where I was more than anything compared to knowing how to do it.
Right, right. And I've seen videos of you. There are a lot of videos out on YouTube showing you going through the trial and error, using a cane to kind of figure out what your obstacles are. How do you go about learning like a particular course?
Ben, I should send you the videos I got a couple days ago. I'm riding backwards. It's called fakie in the skateboarding world, but I'm riding backwards over a set of stairs and doing a pop shove it when my board does a full 360 horizontally under my feet. But finding and learning a new course, it really starts with one obstacle or one piece at a time. I use my ears a lot to hear where other people are skating. If there's people there, I'll know, oh, someone's popping over there. That means there's going to be either a box or a drop or something that you need to jump up on, or I'll feel around. Or when I got my good buddy Caleb or Hippie or Kalen with me, or David, I got my core people I skate with. Or Brock. Brock's very important. But anyways, I got my core people I skate with. They'll take me around the park if I'm ready, if I want that first, or if I just want to throw the board down, feel it out. I'll feel it with my board. I'll feel it with my cane. I'll tap it out, or I'll go there knowing that there's a certain obstacle I like to skate and say, like, can somebody take me to start there? And then I'll start there, I'll warm up, and then I'll be like, okay, let's try something new. Let's show me, what are you guys working on? Or what's over there, you know? My big thing is asking just other people, what are you working on? Oh, that's here? Can I try that with you?
Got
And
it.
then but then once I get to know a spot, and with my 2% of vision, I can see contrast and lights and darks and So I take thick black tape or black spray paint, depending where I am, and I'll throw that on the edges of transitions, on the tops of a box, on the side of a box, so I see it coming up. Well, barely see it, but so I either transitions is where I'll go from flat to ramp or flat to quarter pipe, so I'll know when to like bend my knees, or so I don't just ride straight into it. Or if it's at the side of a box, I'll know, okay, ollie there, and that's the height of it, so I know to get up on that spot, you know?
That's great. You've learned to adapt so well
Thank
to,
you.
you've learned how to accommodate your limited vision. But it also sounds like you have a great group of friends
I do.
and you're not afraid to ask for help.
I'm not afraid to ask for help from them. No, I got amazing friends and an amazing wife. I've built myself a pretty good life that I could trust people in over here, you know?
And I think that's so important, regardless of, your vision or whatever else you got going on in life. But there's one person in particular who you've really done a lot with and has been sort of a mentor for you, Hippie Mike. And I've seen pictures of Hippie Mike. And you know what? He looks like Hippie
He
Mike.
looks like Hippie Mike, right? Like if you saw him on the streets, you wouldn't even have to ask his name. You're like, oh, what's up, Hippie Mike? Like you wouldn't even need to know him at all or even have heard of him. You could guess his name's Mike and you know it starts with hippie.
He's got the long blonde dreads, the beard, and he's old enough to be like a bona fide hippie too,
True.
So
He doesn't like hearing he's old, so he's young at heart, and we make sure we
okay.
remember
Well,
it was his birthday. It was just
I'm
his birthday.
I'm probably about the same age as hippie, so I feel okay mentioning that. So how did you connect with Hippie Mike and how does he help you?
Oh man, he helps me in every way. But so I met Hippie through his skate park, his indoor skate park, HMI, Hippie Mike Industries. But how I got there was whenever I do something, I do it full force. And I kind of took a step back from making music for a while. And when I did that, I kind of sat with myself and thought, what do I want to do? Because I need to be busy. And I thought skateboarding again. And I need, because during the music making time, I was kind of just cruising around the board and taking it casually, but I'm like, I need to get into it. So I looked up a local skate shop in my area, and that took me to a place called 50. And the owner happened to be there. His name's Britton. Shouts out to Britt. And him and I kind of clicked immediately. And he called me one day. He's like, "Hey, you want to go skate?" And I'm like, "I do, but it's raining out." He's like, "No, there's an indoor out in Hope, and it's 30 and overnight. I bet you they'd let you skate." I'm like, "Cool." We get there, and it's like an hour and 20 away. And we get there, and Hippie's behind the counter. It's his shop, and I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "What's up? Are you blind?" I'm like, "I am." He's like, "Awesome. Do you need me to show you around or something?" Like, just not even a second thought about it. I'm like, "I would like that." So then they walk me around the park. I got my cane tapping around. And after I kind of get a touch of the layout, I find two things I want to do. And I asked him, I'm like, can I throw some spray paint down or some tape? And he's like, will it help? And I'm like, a lot, yeah. He's like, well, obviously. And it wasn't obvious because I've had skate parks and municipalities and cities say, no, I can't put the spray paint down because if it's somewhere I go a lot, I'd rather paint it than waste a bunch of tape that people are going to take off. So Hippie immediately is like, yep, Kalen, his son, get over here. We're putting tape down, you know? And just the fact that he did that was amazing. The first day there, he taught me how to do a trick I was trying to do for 16 years because I just didn't know how to do it. I was doing it wrong the whole time. And he taught me how, and I landed it that day. And that was kind of the beginning of our relationship. And since then, every time I'm there, if I want to learn something new, he'll teach me how, or he'll film me, or we're just like really good friends too. You know, he's like family to me. But he'll help me with everything from finding the door handle if I need to knowing how to do a fakey three shove over a three set.
That's great that you guys became instant pals and
Oh yeah.
he's so helpful and accommodating without, I presume, having really worked with a blind skateboarder before.
No, never. He did teach Andy Anderson how to skateboard, and he's the best skater in the whole world, but he can see. He teaches kids how to skate. He does lessons. He's always just sharing his knowledge with everybody, but I'm soaking it all up. And we actually went on a skate trip down to San Francisco from here in Vancouver, stopped at a bunch of parks on the way, and that's where he kind of saw that everywhere we went, I was determined to land something, whether I needed to ask him to show me somewhere or if I just found somewhere, down to the point where we hit legendary street spots out in San Francisco, which is just so cool because I would never have that opportunity if it wasn't for Hip.
Right, right. Well, again, I'm so glad you found this great person to support you and be there for you. So we've been talking a lot about skateboarding, but you have a lot of other things going on in your life. You have a wife and a new baby,
He's awesome, so is she.
and you have, well, you do motivational speaking. You go around to schools and stuff. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, honestly, I just like to talk, so hard to tell, right? I just like to talk, and that's how it all started, is after I lost my vision and I was still doing my thing, I'd be talking about it, talking about what I'm doing, talking about myself, and I said it to the right person who had a speech coming up to do with motivational people with disabilities, I believe, and he asked me if I was wanting to do a speech, and I'm like, "Yep, never done that before, sure." It was in front of a school, and I was still in school, but let's say I took a class off and went from my school to theirs. I got a ride and I did this speech in front of the school. I skateboarded up to the mic. I just yapped my story. I didn't know how to structure it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just talking. And when I was finished, people loved it. It was crazy. I blew my mind, the reaction I got. And I'm like, well, this isn't good for my ego, but I think I like to do this a lot. So I started pushing more into finding places that would like me to come speak, and I've done it across Canada, and I'm still doing it. That was 14 years ago, and I'm still trying to get more places that might want to have me come speak there, and I'll come do it anywhere. And I've definitely gotten better at it and learned how to structure it more and learned how to make it a real presentation.
And honestly, Brett, just talking with you, even in our prep call that we did before this interview, I was motivated. So you're just a natural motivator.
You're amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. You didn't have to return the compliment, but were you always this outgoing and energetic, or did your blindness kind of push you into this new realm?
So energetic, absolutely. I think that has to come with the ADHD as a kid and being just wound up like a top and bouncing off the walls. Outgoing, yes, but having like a lot of friends and a big group of people and all that when I was younger, no. So being blind kind of took away the fear of caring about what people look at me like when I'm walking into a group of people and say, "Hey, what's up? I'm Brett. Who here wants to talk?" Or like not talk, like what's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? What's going on? Which is what I'll do now at any like venue or party or anywhere, skate park, whatever. But before it'd be, okay, I'm gonna skate by myself. Maybe if someone talks to me, I'll talk your ear off back. But now, yeah, no, being blind definitely opened me up to be a more outgoing and just charismatic person.
Well, it worked. You are very charismatic. So
That's how you
I'm
pronounce it.
glad I'm glad something good came out of the vision loss. So you do
I think
these
a lot of good things came out of the vision loss,
well,
honestly. Sorry for cutting you
clearly.
off there, sir.
So you've got the wife and kid. You also have a clothing line. Tell us about that.
I think I'm wearing it right now. I know we're not on video, but I think I put my own shirt on, actually. Yeah, I put my own shirt on today. Yeah, it's called The Blind Kid, and when I say this to or around or with other visually impaired people, I feel kind of weird about it because, like, yeah, I'm the blind kid. Yeah, so are we, dude. But when it all started out is because I was the only blind person in the whole area, there was never anyone who ever went blind in my school I was at. There not or anybody I knew had never met a blind person either, so when I was walking around the halls, people would go like, "There goes the blind kid. There goes the blind kid." Like, not the deaf kid, just so we're clear. So I heard that, but instead of kind of being like, "Oh, wow, why would you say that?" It's like, "Okay, you know what? That's kind of dope. I like it. Let's abbreviate it. TBK is what you guys can call me, and the clothing line is called the Blind Kid, and it kind of lines up with what else I do. And I know we'll talk about that in a second, but the Blind Kid kind of started out with that, and I drew my logo, tried to draw it out on a big poster board with a marker, couldn't see that. And I always lost where my marker was, like my drawing on the paper. So then I got gifted an iPad from my mom's friends at work, and there was a drawing app on it that I found, and I was able to use my finger, and in that case I knew where I was drawing more because I could follow with my finger, and it was black on light, so there was at least a little bit of a chance of me being able to see it. Like, it was literally black on light instead of on white. So I was able to follow that, and I kind of just started doing a bunch of scribbles, and once I made one up that was the letters together of TBK, I showed it to a couple people, and they're like, that's actually pretty cool. So I sent it off to a graphic designer to make it not look like a 2-year-old drew it, and he came up with this really cool, edgy skate design that the letters smushed together in a fun way, and yeah, that's kind of what started all the clothing line.
It's very cool. It's very cool. And how can people get a TBK shirt or whatever other clothing you have?
Well, currently, my website is shut down, but hopefully by the time this podcast comes out, it is not. So you can go to tbktheblindkid.com, and on there's either going to be a shop or there's going to be a link that can direct you over to Hippie Mike's website, where you can either find a shirt that we have collaborated together on that has Braille on it that says Hippie Mike Industries or HMI Skate Park. And there's a logo of Hippie Mike, but he's wearing one of my hoodies in the logo and sunglasses. So it's pretty cool. And it's a collaboration we've done. I'm also going to have some other shirts of mine up on his website, shirts and sweaters and whatever I could slap my logo on and sell. But either on my website, tbktheblindkid.com, or on HMI's website, Hippie Mike Industries, or you can go and just find me on Instagram, TBK the Blind Kid. Message me, tell me you want one of my shirts, and I'll just mail it to you, dude. We're pretty grassroots around here.
That sounds great. I definitely want a shirt or a hoodie, given it's moving into winter. I may go for one of those hoodies. So
they're so comfy.
It sounds great, but they look cool as well. And I'll always remember our conversation when I wear the hoodie. So I'm looking forward to it. So if I understand correctly, with the proceeds from your clothing line, you're doing something philanthropic.
I am, yeah. And that's the reason why the Blind Kid, the name for the clothing line, is pretty cool, because what I do is I raise money with the proceeds and fundraisers, and really just any money I can get my hands on after I got everything else paid off goes into my foundation, where I purchase iPads because I know how much it helped me, and there's a voiceover screen reader technology. We're this podcast, so everyone listening to this probably knows that. But on Apple, I find it very user-friendly, so I like to get iPads and a keyboard, like a physical keyboard for those who know how to type still or don't use a braille display, and a set of headphones, smart cover. Like, I just got a little package together, and then I go through the education system for people with disabilities, and I find someone who has a similar story to myself, someone who's visually impaired, someone who might have just lost their vision. I learn a bit about them on the side, like, to see if this is something that might help them. And if it is, then I'll try to go through the rinks to find their parent or guardian's phone number. I'll call them up, and this is all by surprise the way I do it. So I keep it all low key and kind of secretive like that. So I call up the parent and I'm like, hey, like, my name's Brett, the blind kid. And that always sounds weird when they're like, well, my kid's the blind kid. I'm like, I get it. And I'm like, does your child have an iPad currently to help them with school that is theirs, not the school's property, not the family's, that's theirs, to help them with school or be creative or do anything that they might need to do to feel like they're more capable, connected, and have the ability to do things they might want to do that they feel like they can't? I think once I've gotten someone saying, yeah, they actually do, and I'm like, awesome, you know what? Thanks. But usually it's no, and I'm like, well, do you mind if I give them one tomorrow or next week or like in the next few days? And they're like, really? Right? And I'm like, yes. And it's like just my favorite thing to do, because then I get to go to the school. I'm like, oh yeah, don't tell them, by the way. And then I get to go to the school. I've had one mom blow the surprise. I was pretty choked. But it's whatever. I show up at the school and I go kind of sneak into the class or knock on the door. There's no sneaking. It's only sneaking up on the blind guy. But I find them in the class. I'm like, hey, I've got something for you. My name's Brett, and this is who I am, but I've heard a little bit about you. And I'd like to give you this. It should help you with school, and there are lots of things on here you could do to be creative, because that's something I find very important in life is being creative. Because on iPads, you can use GarageBand or drawing apps or notes to write poetry or anything along those lines. So that's what I do. Then I just go, okay, see you later, man. Like if you need any help with it, you can contact me and we can talk. I can help you, or there your TAs know how to do it. There's gonna be your vision teachers might know how to do it, but yeah.
That's so cool. And you're not just doing something to help them be more independent and learn and all that, but you make it an experience because you show up with the iPad.
Yeah, I make sure I do it. I've had people before say, well, you can give it to us and we'll give it to them. And I'm like, no. No, that's not how it's gonna happen. I have fun with it. It's just for me too. I enjoy the experience, and I've been thinking if I end up being able to afford to do this more and more often, well, I want to start doing it in outfits and costumes because I think that'd be even more fun. Like showing up dressed like a clown or in like a dinosaur costume or something, and then the rest of the class will be like, "No, I'm serious. He's a blind clown gave you that," or something. It's like, no. Some things are just for you, you know?
I love the blind clown idea. I don't
You're
think I've ever
right.
heard of a blind clown, so keep that one in mind.
Bozo the Blindy.
Bozo the Blindy. I love it.
Um,
So you've got the clothing line, you've got the iPad,
I got the clown. Just
giveaways. Yeah,
kidding.
we've got a clown. We've just created a clown here. But the big
Blinky,
thing,
that's his name, Blinky. Blinky the
Blinky,
Blindo. That's funnier.
that is, I agree.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
Blinky
cut you
the
off.
blind clown. No, I'm happy. It's fun to create right in real time with you, right here and now.
It's happening.
But I do want to talk about the documentary that
As do I.
premiered in your home country of Canada. And there's the documentary itself, and then there's kind of the story behind the documentary. Tell us about it.
Well, okay, so the documentary is called Blind Corners. And it's because not just me, not just you, but nobody really knows what's around the corner. So it's called Blind Corners because that's just the way life happens and life is, and we all gotta be okay with it, man. But this documentary means so much to me because it's technically it's my life story put into 25 minutes. And it all started from Hippie taking me down to San Francisco and saying, like, we need more people to know about this. So it's about my life story. So going blind at 16, everything we've already talked about, the philanthropy, the motivational speaking, the clothing line. I cover all of that in the beginning. Then it goes into me meeting Hippie and him bringing me to HMI and what HMI, the skate park, has done for me, made me feel more independent as a skater, giving me a place to hone in my craft, get better, be able to learn from the best. And it's all about that story and a lot about resilience and never giving up. And a lot of the times I'm telling you, like, hey, I went blind, or he went blind, or Brett went blind, and he still skateboards. So you shouldn't give up either. And I could tell you that till I'm blue in the face. But, I'm not the kind of person that just has to tell you something. I got to show you. And when we were getting the last 10 minutes of footage, because we only had like 15 minutes of footage, and we wanted to have it be a full episode's length or be a little longer. I'm like, oh, that's all right. We'll go out and get one more day of footage. And I already jumped over a 6 set of stairs down in San Francisco. So let's go do that again. I had Hippie there to coach me through that one. And now let's do it without Hippie. Let's just go me and a couple buddies, or me, the videographer, and a friend. Videographer's name is Tim Barker. Put some respect on that name. He's amazing. And me and David and Tim went out. So we go out and warm up at a local park. And this is January, by the way, and while we're filming this. So it was kind of chilly. So I got like a hoodie on and stuff, but it was a nice day. But there's still snow on the ground or salt on the ground places because it is Canada, even if it's Vancouver. And I went to go jump over the 6th set, and it was a small one by an elementary school, but the lighting was weird. It was just something was off. I don't know what did it, but I landed weird with one foot on the board and one foot on the concrete, and the board kept moving, and the foot on the concrete obviously did not. And my femur snapped 2 inches below my hip, and I went down. Tried to stand up, felt like I was standing on water. That was weird. So I was on the ground, and after the initial, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm scared, is it going to be all right? Which it was not. They called the ambulance. I was laying on the ground waiting for the ambulance. They showed up. They cut my pants off. They cut the laces to my shoes. I was mad. They, they didn't cut my belt off. I stopped them there and I'm like, let me take this off, which is insane because it was a leather belt on like sweaty jeans, denim. So that shouldn't have been. I should have let them cut it, but I liked that belt. And I was all mic'd up during this as well. So I had the mic package, the microphone, lab mic in my pocket there. And we got all that off. I get in the ambulance. I get there. I'm still thinking it's just dislocated. So from the back of my hip, so I'm from the back of the ambulance, there's a clip of me literally going, I'm sorry we didn't get the shot, boys. And then I'm in the back of the ambulance calling people, and I called Hippie, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm not going to be able to make it to the skate park tonight. And he's like, why not? And I'm like, well, I think I dislocated my hip or something. I don't know. He's like, it might be broken. And he's like, if it was broken, you'd be screaming at me. And I'm like, well, thank you, Dr. Hippie. And I meant that. It's not even being sarcastic. That made me feel better. And we get to the hospital. I called my wife in the ambulance too. I'm like, hey, Natalie, you mind meeting me at the hospital? And we got there and we got x-rayed immediately. I got x-rayed immediately, and turned out it was snapped right in half and a spiral fracture up my leg, down the rest of my leg, I mean. And I got put into surgery the next day. And when I woke up, I had messages from the whole skate community, like everyone from Andy Anderson to Hippie to just like all the skate, everybody. I didn't even know half the people messaging me, just saying like, get better, dude. Like, you'll be back on that board and all of that. And it gave me the drive because even Hippie, the most was Hippie and his daughter. She's like 8 at the time, being like, what? I love Brett. He shouldn't get. I loved that. And Hippie had his leg reconstructed like 3 separate times from breaking it. And that gave me a lot of hope to know how much he still skateboards now. So with all that, immediately I was doing physio, immediately I was bending my broken leg and like at the knee and making sure it didn't seize up and just doing my best and telling the doctors I don't want any of the drugs, give me the least amount, just enough to take the edge off. Like, I want to feel this. I want to know what I'm going through. And yeah, so that was what happened during the filming of the documentary. So if you don't come see it, I broke my leg for nothing. Or if you didn't come see it, if you don't watch it, I broke my leg for nothing. And, but that's what happened for the whole doc. And it got pulled together, and I got a couple shots of me recovering. I had 38 staples in my leg, and I got footage of me taking the bandage off. And man, it was pretty nuts. And then about, I don't know, 6 months later, I was back on the board, and we got that in the documentary as well. The day I got back on the board, the first time, Hippie taught me a new trick. And that was going around a gravitron, which is wrapping around the top of a bowl. And I'm not even a bowl skater, but wrapping around the top of a bowl from the outside and then going down into it, and just pretty crazy stuff. Like, it was just so fulfilling to know that I can still do this. But it was weird because, like I mentioned in the beginning of this, when I went blind, skateboarding wasn't the part of skateboarding wasn't that if I can do it still. It was if I could find where I'm going and map my surroundings. Where when I broke my leg, it was harder than when I went blind. It was like I had to learn how to skate again with this brand new metal bar leg. Now I got a metal bar from my knee to my hip, 2 screws by my knee, 1 screw up by my hip, and put back together.
You're unstoppable, dude. I just can't imagine what it was like to break your leg and then just go right back and get into skateboarding.
I had to.
I know that now, knowing you really did have to. And so this is all captured in the documentary.
Oh yeah, we got that leg break 4K slow-mo. I hope everyone enjoys watching that in the theater, wherever you get to watch it. Like, like that's, hey, I don't have to, so. But all of that is captured. Yeah, we got it all.
Okay.
Got a great filmer, dude. Tim Barker was the best. He didn't cut. He didn't cut. He filmed it all, and we even got the ambulance being lit up and the sirens on my way out. Like, we had really cool ambulance drivers. They're like, "Do you want us to like turn the lights on and make it loud?" I'm like, "Yeah." I've never been in one of these. Let's make it a ride, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's absolutely awesome. And I wanted to see the documentary when I learned about it initially, but now that you've gone into more detail, this is a must see. So again, it came out in Canada, premiered in Canada, and I know you're trying to get it on a streaming platform.
I am, yeah. It premiered live on November 22nd for the first one. It was a red carpet event. It went great. It was a lot of fun to have all these people make it feel like it's a fancy event with I had an actual red carpet. And it was a very small event for that one. Then I had another premiere on the 28th, and everything it is just such a fun time to have all these people together. And yeah, no, I can send you the link.
Yeah. Please
or you can help me sell it.
Well, we'll do both. This podcast alone, the way you talk about what happened in the documentary, just the femur snap alone. Just saying femur snap just sends a chill up and down my spine every
Sends
time
it up
I
and
hear
down my
that.
leg.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. So, Brett, this has been just a lot of fun. I had fun preparing for this podcast. I've had fun during the podcast, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Obviously, we hope the documentary gets some traction. I think it will, given
I hope so too.
who you are and the story. Is there any kind of final message? Maybe there's an obvious message, but to whether it's to blind kids or just people like me or whomever just going through daily life, and sometimes whatever situation just sucks. What's your message?
I got this one's for everybody, honestly, and it starts with stay on the board and it ends with stay on the board, whatever your board is. Because you know what, like we all got a bad hand of cards. No one has a good one, no matter how much they fake that they do. You just got to learn how to play the ones you got and play the ones you hate and love the ones you got. You know, like it's the way life goes. Is you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Don't give up and stay on that board, whatever your board is.
I will remember that forever. Stay on the board.
Stay on the board, man.
Do you have that on a shirt?
No, that's just what hippie Mike yells at me.
Okay. Well, as not a sure marketing guy, but I think a stay on the board shirt would be
that'd
really
be pretty
cool.
darn cool. Yeah, stay on the board. And we got a shirt, so we could put it on there. We got a print machine.
That sounds great. Well, Brett, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you for having me, Ben.
A ton of fun. And I just can't wait to see what's going on next in your life. Continued success. And thanks for your message and what you do for everybody out there. You really are inspiring and a lot of fun along the way. So thank you.
Well, let's do this again sometime. We'll see where we're at next time.
That sounds great.
Thanks, Ben. I really appreciate your time, and I had a lot of fun getting ready for this one, and I had a lot of fun on it, man. I really appreciate you. You did your research, and that's awesome. You're just so great, and I appreciate what you do for people and what you do sharing all these people's stories, and it's what the world needs. We can't be able to talk to everybody in person, so the fact that you do this is what we need.
It's an honor and a privilege, and thanks again for sharing your story.
Thanks. Peace.
So, listeners, thanks as always for joining the Hope and Focus podcast. It's a pleasure to have you, and we look forward to having you back for the next episode.
Whether you live with vision loss or love someone who does, this space is for you. To learn more about Hope and Focus and join us in advancing treatments for LCA, visit hopeandfocus.org and connect with us on social media @HopeandFocus1. Together, we're bringing hope into focus.